Breaking news here on day one of NFL free agency for the Chicago Bears. Welcome in to Chicago Bears Now. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. If you've never stumbled across this channel, I encourage you guys to hit that subscribe button because we break down news when it happens, like the signing of defensive tackle Larry Ogunjobi from the Cincinnati Bengals. He is the first big signing of Ryan Poles. Ian Rappaport broke the news just moments ago. Bears are expected to sign Larry Ogunjobi, a huge piece in the middle. That contract has been confirmed. He is going to sign. Technically can't become official on Wednesday, but this is when the deals start to go down here on Monday for the legal tampering period. But we all know that deals are already getting into place. I love this move for Chicago, and I will outline why throughout this video, but I love this move. Defensive tackle was a big need for this team after switching to a 4-3. You release Eddie Goldman. I don't think Akiem Hicks will be back, and now you go sign my favorite defensive tackle on the open market for this scheme. Larry Ogunjobi had a great year last year. We'll kind of outline that as well. Great move for the Bears. Great way to start NFL free agency. What is your one-word reaction to the Bears signing Larry Ogunjobi? Let me know down in the comments. How about violent or physical or awesome? Or if you don't like it, you can say sucks or something else. But guys, I think you should like this move. This is a good signing for the Chicago Bears. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about Larry Ogunjobi. They are signing him to a 3-year, $40.5 million deal. Almost certainly signals the end of Akiem Hicks in Chicago. I think we should mention that as well. I think he is likely gone. We'll see what happens with Bilal Nichols, who's also a free agent. Now, the contract details, 3 years, $40.5 million. Brad Biggs had the contract notes first, so we'll give him credit. 3 years, $40.5 million. $26.35 million in guaranteed. Probably means for year 3, if the Bears want to get out of that deal for a limited dead cap hit, they can do so. But he for sure will be here for at least the next 2 years. Ryan Poles is signaling to us already. He wants physical guys. He wants violent guys. He wants mean football players, especially in the trenches. And that's how you get better on the offensive and defensive line. You get these big physical guys that come in here and set the tone. Larry Ogunjobi is a guy that will help set the tone for this defense. This kind of reminds me of when the Bears signed Akiem Hicks 4 or 5 years ago. Hicks came that emotional, physical, violent leader for Chicago. I think this is the type of guy that can do just that. More on this signing in a moment, but this is why you subscribe, and if you ain't subscribed, you ain't alive. So subscribe to Bears Now for the latest free agency news and rumors around this team. We will have you guys covered throughout NFL free agency. The link is below, youtube.com/Bears Now. Do not miss any of our coverage throughout the offseason for the Chicago Bears. We're closing in on 44,000 subscribers. Help us get there by subscribing. Okay, let's look at his numbers from a year ago. 49 tackles. 12 tackles for loss, 7 sacks from an interior pass rusher. I like that quite a bit. 16 quarterback hits. He gets after the passer. He can stop the run. If you look at Cincinnati's playoff run last year, it was more about their defense and specifically their defensive line, especially in the Super Bowl. Remember, the Rams could not run it at all. That helped carry them. Sure, Joe Burrow made plays when he had to, but they were great in the trenches on that defense. Now, Ogunjobi got hurt in the playoffs, but throughout the year, he was a key player for them. We talked about B.J. Hill as another potential target. I don't think the Bears will be in the mix for him now, but Larry Ogunjobi was a part of this defense turning around this year. He was a big piece to that Bengals resurgence on the defensive side of the ball. He was my top defensive tackle target. This is the guy that I wanted. It was either him or B.J. Hill, both with Cincinnati, ironically enough. You get Larry Ogunjobi, who, by the way, guys, he's 27 years old. He's young still. This is a guy at the end of his contract, he'll be 30. So if you want to bring him back for another couple of years, they'll be able to do that. I like this. The Bears have talked about we want to be physical, violent, explosive, get younger. You do all of that with Larry Ogunjobi coming in. 3 years, $40.5 million. I love this deal by Chicago. Grade the deal, grade the contract for us down in the comment section. A, B, C, D, or F. Sure, on paper, is it an overpay? Perhaps 13 and change per year for a defensive tackle. It's a lot, but he's productive, and like Ryan Poles said, the reality of free agency is you're going to have to overpay at least a little bit. A, B, C, D, or F, I think it's a solid A- signing. I like this deal quite a bit. It's a great start to free agency for the Bears. It really is. Now, obviously, we've talked about offense a lot. We've talked about receiver, offensive line, and we would those. It's not like those things go away. The Bears still have plenty of cap space. They had $36 million and some change. We'll see how much of this contract, how much of a cap hit it is in year one. This year, I would expect a lot of it is backloaded for next year and the year after, when the Bears have a ton of more cap space. But we'll see what that structure looks like. But I think this is a really good start. Now you look at the depth chart here. You got Robert Quinn and Trevis Gibson off the edge. Larry Ogunjobi is one of your defensive tackles. I have Akiem Hicks penciled in until he signs somewhere else, but I fully expect him to be gone. I expect Bilal Nichols to be gone. Maybe Kairos Tonga starts as like your heavier nose tackle type next to Ogunjobi. But I think what this does, you sign – I think I said this before free agency. Sign one defensive tackle, draft another. I think the Bears could be a team that drafts a defensive tackle with that number 71 pick in the third round, so keep an eye on that. We'll see if Hicks or Nichols returns, but I think that's an ultimate long shot. But make no mistake, this fills a big need. Larry Ogunjobi fills a big need. I know the focus is O-line and wide receiver, but with this 4-3 scheme change and a Hicks likely gone and cutting Eddie Goldman, you had to get at least one proven defensive tackle in here, and you've got that in Larry Ogunjobi. That fills a big need. Now go start addressing those other needs. That's what I expect polls in this front office to shift toward moving forward. Who do you want the Bears to sign next? What's coming up down the pipeline? Let me know down in the comments. Throw a name out there, a DJ Chark, a Christian Kirk, Juju Smith-Schuster, Brian Allen, Bradley Bozeman. A lot of names out there that could make some sense for Chicago. Who do you want to see the Bears sign next? Now, these are three names that the Bears have been linked to here in the early going of free agency. They've, of course, been quote-unquote linked to other guys, Juju, Jarvis Landry, but actual reported links to these three guys here on Monday. Brian Allen, the center, he's from Chicago. That makes a lot of sense to me, especially after Ryan Jensen re-signed with the Bucs. Juju and Christian Kirk, two names I've seen, reports that the Bears are interested. So I think now those two positions, offensive line and wide receiver, those become the focus now for the Bears as we continue to shift forward. And by the way, so much for the second and third waves of free agency, right? You sign a dude within an hour and a half of the tampering window opening. Larry Ogunjobi is a first-wave free agent. You give a defensive tackle $40 million, that's a first-wave free agent for the Chicago Bears. Hey, reminder, this is why you subscribe, because every time the Bears make a move, we are going to break it down. YouTube.com/Bears. Now, stay on the lookout for live shows as well. Thought about doing live for this one, but thought I'd get it started with just a simple video here breaking down Larry Ogunjobi. Stay tuned. Live videos and other shows will be in the works throughout the week. Probably more videos today. So subscribe, turn on those noties. We'll keep you covered here on Bears Now.